Greetings, members, one and all of the Salivation Nation. They cannot take your wealth. Let's explore. For many of you watching this video, this is the first time that you have ever seen the situation that we are witnessing right now in terms of inflation. Whereas the Federal Reserve notes that you see before you here, or for most currencies around the world, this is a situation where you are losing money. And yes, this Federal Reserve note is indeed money. And it is defined as such because what is Gresham's law? Gresham's law in economics says that bad money drives out good. Yes, indeed, and that's exactly what's going on today. And the bad money is just getting worse. Still is a store of value, but it is a store of value that is losing that value year over year. In fact, at a pace of month over month now, to a point where there was a time where every 30 days it was losing 1% approximately. Nonetheless, that is what we are experiencing now. And so therefore, how does that translate in terms of the work that you do to earn those dollars, those monetary units? The currency that you work hard for is losing value. It's being stolen from you, essentially. It's being taken. It's being taken by the central bankers, and more importantly, the politicians that really bankroll them or empower them. Yes, the Federal Reserve, which is the central bank of the United States of America, is a private entity. Yea, though, the chairman of the Federal Reserve is appointed by the president. So you want to talk about a close relationship between the government and the private institution that is the Federal Reserve. That is it right there. And that's been in existence since December of 1913. The Federal Reserve Act created it, and ever since then, we have seen nothing but a decline in the value of the dollar ever since. And every year, by design, they target a 2% inflation rate. And what happens, the money that we earn just goes round and round, but more importantly, down and down. And that is theft, folks. That is a central robbery, and it's done without violence. And it's done without raising your taxes. And that is the troubling aspect of all of this, and that should concern everybody who wants to be able to preserve their hard work. Because that's what money does. Money is a measure of labor. It is a measure of time. The time and energy it takes to be able to work in order to feed your families, in order to live comfortably under a roof, and all that stuff is becoming more and more expensive. And so that means that when you see that wages are up, and yes, they are up, in fact, you will see many of the politicians say, well, hey, yes, inflation is rising, but wages are up. And there's a lot of good things happening. But if you look at the wage growth, and that wage growth is averaging around 4% per year. And look where inflation is at these days. As I record this video, it is around 7.5%. Now, you tell me, by doing the simple math there, as to if that wage growth is having any effect at all. In fact, you know you're losing money by the tune of a couple of percentage points. About 3, a little over 3 percentage points to be exact, and that's based off just the official numbers. There's certain ideas that the Consumer Price Index accounts for and others that it does not. There's other measures of inflation from Consumer Price Index, Producer Price Index, that all equates out to double-digit inflation. And inflation is essentially the shrinking of the value of your dollar. And we've not seen this to this level since for 40 years. So therefore, it is incumbent upon us to invest in not only a way to hedge, and that's what it's about. And that's what it's about, because the word hedge and invest are kind of diametrically opposed to each other. But in this day and age, especially what's going on, it's about the future. And what is an investment about? An investment is about earning profits on the future. And in this day and age, it's not about necessarily making money. It's about not losing it, not hemorrhaging the value of your labor, your time, and your energy. So therefore, investing in a hedge such as what you see before you here, gold and silver. These two metals have been proven time and time again to preserve your wealth. And they have done that for centuries, while they were front and center in our monetary systems of ages and empires and epochs gone past. Their value has remained constant. And yes, we know that throughout the course of time, the Roman Empire, for as long as it's lasted, has debased their currencies, their coins. Gresham's law was in effect then, and it is in effect now. Because it was much more convenient. If you don't have a constricting system on the powers that be, they will take advantage of it. You heard the ancient saying, give them an inch and they will take a mile. That holds very true here in this day and age with these politicians. They say that history may not repeat, but it often rhymes. And that is so true, truer now than ever before, I believe. And we are witnessing it here. But one thing that is constant, one thing that you cannot just create out of thin air, and that is gold and silver. Gold and silver, the physical elements that you see, are literally elements on the periodic table. One with the atomic number 47 with silver, and one with the atomic number 79 with gold. And these two metals have proven themselves. They don't deteriorate. They do not dissolve, except for in the case of gold with aquagia, you can actually dissolve it down, but reconstitute it just as easily. It does not go away. You cannot take it away, and they are constant, and they remain as such. They don't have an agenda. They can't be manipulated. The metals of themselves, they can be manipulated in the marketplace, but that is the spot price of gold and silver that you see fluctuate from time to time, where you see manipulation to the upside and downside. They really can't suppress the price of silver and gold. The markets are just too complex to make that happen. But the fluctuation of price, given the psychology of the markets, means that its price reflection may not equate with its value. And that's important to understand, because they cannot take that value away, which means the wealth that you hold with gold and silver cannot be taken away, especially for the long period of time. This is why we consider them hedges and not investments, which is also why I think it's good to invest in your future with gold and silver as a hedge. And that's why, folks, when you have these metals in your portfolio, it is like extending a huge middle finger to the politicians, to the governments, and to the central bankers around the world, because you are holding something. You have taken it out of the market as a commodity and as a monetary metal to where you hold them in your possession, empowering yourself to be your own central bank. So think about that. And remember that as you hold gold and silver and secure your holdings with not only firepower, but concealment and protection so that they cannot be taken from you in the physical form, their value will remain constant, and no government, no financial institution, no central bank, no entity can take your wealth if it's in the form of gold and silver. You can't say that with any other commodity, with any other monetary unit, with any other investment class. Nothing compares to gold and silver for wealth preservation and for empowerment of the individual who holds these metals in physical form, especially, to be able to protect yourself against economic instability, inflation, deflation, stagflation, and shrinkflation. we will continue to press on with precious metals. And this is something that I think is foundational and fundamental to each of us as we look to the future and where things are going in this country and where things are going in this hemisphere and world. It's a lot of troubling times ahead. We're experiencing them geopolitically, economically, and politically. And that's something that we need to protect ourselves from, because no matter what policies they put into place, even to the point of confiscation, take it from my hands. Come and take it, as they once said in Texas, when referring to their guns. The same thing can hold true to true wealth, sound money, as opposed to unsound money. This cotton-based fibrous note here that has been in existence in its current form since 1913 will continue to erode away. And it will be reset at one point in time to some sort of digital-based currency, whether it comes in the form of Fed coin, whether it comes in the form of some other type of central bank digital currency tied to a global system. It matters not, as long as we have these in our portfolio, silver and gold. So I hope this video will encourage you to hold your silver and gold and to accumulate as you find necessary, and also understanding your budget and your financial situation. Holding precious metals is something that has stood the test of time for those who diversify their portfolios and investment strategies out there. Holding gold and silver is something that is a timeless measure, and that will continue to be the case no matter what kind of technological advances we make here in the United States and around the world. So hold on to your physical gold and silver, and remember that they cannot take it away from you unless you voluntarily surrender it. And I would encourage you not to do that, especially in this day and age. So there you have it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. I would like to extend a multitude of gratitude to you all for taking the time to watch this video, and to encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.